After 60, no matter how many children or grandchildren you have, avoid these 4 things. Time waits for no one. In the blink of an eye, we find ourselves past 60 or even 70. At this stage of life, the desire to compete or chase after gains fades away. After enduring the ups and downs of life, all we long for is peace and comfort with our family. Through the years, we gradually realize that family is the most important thing. Life is short, and the road ahead is no longer long, so don't waste time on meaningless disputes or trivial matters. Instead, live peacefully and cherish the days that remain. Once you've passed 60, there are 4 things you should avoid to ensure a serene and happy old age. First, don't live with your children, or if you must, avoid interfering too much. Family is built on love and connection, but each generation has its own way of life and values. When children grow up and start their own families, it's time for us to take a step back and let them make their own decisions. Living together can foster closeness and care, but without clear boundaries, it can also lead to misunderstandings and conflicts. If circumstances allow, let your children have their own space while you maintain an independent, peaceful life. If you do live together, the key is mutual respect and understanding. Avoid meddling too deeply in their lives or taking on too much responsibility. Let them take charge of their own happiness. As for yourself, instead of worrying, focus on your health, make friends, and find joy in simple things. A tranquil, carefree life is the greatest gift you deserve in old age. Second, don't become a servant to your children and grandchildren. As parents, we naturally love our children and want to help them lead easier lives. But at this age, we must realize that no matter how deep our love, we shouldn't let ourselves become unpaid servants in our children's homes. Helping when needed is normal, but don't let it become an obligation. Old age doesn't last forever. Live for yourself a little and enjoy the days you have left with peace of mind. Remember, once children grow up, they need to learn how to stand on their own, build their own families, and solve their own problems. Helping them doesn't mean sacrificing everything. What's more heartbreaking than giving all you have, only to find yourself too weak to continue, while your children have grown dependent on you? So, love wisely and in moderation. Third, don't support your children beyond your means. Every parent wants their children to live well and comfortably. But sometimes, our excessive love pushes us into hardship, even leaving us without a safety net in old age. At a certain point, we need to recognize our limits. Sacrificing everything for your children isn't always the best thing. Remember, they have their own lives, and we also need our own. Don't give away all your assets and money, only to end up struggling or without a place to stay. Such sacrifices, though born from love, don't always yield the results we hope for. Keep something for yourself, no matter how little, to secure your later years. Only then can you feel truly at peace. Even if your children love you deeply, they still have their own lives and responsibilities. Don't burden them with both their own family and the worry of caring for you. When you stay healthy and financially independent, your children will also feel more at ease and happier. Fourth, don't cling to your children. The bond between parents and children is sacred, but at a certain age, we need to learn to let go. Don't think of your children as your whole world or cling to them so tightly that you forget about your own life. Old age should be a time for enjoyment, traveling, exploring, and doing what you love. Let your children live their own lives while you create a life of your own. Make friends, find joy in the little things, take care of your health, and keep your spirit at peace. That's the right way to live in your later years. No one can live life on your behalf. While your children's happiness is worth celebrating, you must also create your own joy. Don't let your final days become lonely and empty. Conclusion. Old age is a time to rest and enjoy life after decades of hard work and sacrifice. So, live lightly and peacefully. Don't burden yourself with too much or become a burden to your children. A calm, independent life is the most precious gift you deserve in your later years. Value yourself and the time you have left. When you live happily and healthily, your children will feel reassured, and the whole family will be happier. Life becomes more complete when we learn to let go of what doesn't matter and cherish what we still have. Farah and her journey to rediscover happiness in old age. Farah was once a devoted mother and a loving grandmother. Throughout her life, she poured all her love and strength into her family. After her husband passed away early, she single-handedly raised her 3 children to adulthood. When her children grew up and started their own families, Farah thought she could finally enjoy her old age, cared for and cherished by her children and grandchildren. But life didn't turn out the way she imagined. Her eldest son invited her to live with his family so he could take better care of her. Farah agreed, believing she could help her children while finding joy in watching her grandchildren grow up. Every day, she woke up early to prepare breakfast, took her grandson to school, cooked meals, and cleaned the house. She couldn't bear to sit idly while her children were busy working. At first, everyone appreciated her efforts. But gradually, her help became an unspoken expectation. Her children stopped asking and simply assumed she would handle everything. She began hearing careless remarks like, "Mom's free anyway, she can do it," or "Mom can watch the kids, we've got things to do." Farah started feeling tired and lonely in her own son's house. She didn't dare to complain, fearing it would trouble her children. A few times, she gently voiced her thoughts, but they brushed it off, saying, "You're old now, Mom. You wouldn't understand how things work these days." One day, after dropping her grandson off at school, Farah found herself sitting on the front porch, staring at the sky, feeling strangely empty. She asked herself, "Am I really living just to be a free maid for my children? How much time do I even have left for myself?" That evening, she gathered her children and spoke from her heart. "I love you all and my grandchildren dearly. But I've realized that I, too, need to live a life of my own. I've sacrificed enough. Now it's time for me to live for myself." Farah decided to move back to her old, cozy house, the one filled with cherished memories of her husband. She planted roses, just like he used to love, joined a local senior club, made new friends, and spent time reading, something she once loved but abandoned long ago. At first, her children were worried and felt guilty. But soon, they saw how much healthier, happier, and more vibrant she looked. Farah was no longer a frail mother who needed to be looked after but a strong, independent woman living her life to the fullest. Every weekend, her children and grandchildren would visit. This time, Farah wasn't busy cooking or doing chores. She sat in her fragrant rose garden, smiling contentedly as her children prepared meals and chatted joyfully. Farah finally understood, when you live happily and peacefully, your children feel reassured and happy too. Conclusion. Old age is a time to rest and enjoy life after decades of hard work and sacrifice. So, live lightly and peacefully. Don't burden yourself with too much or become a burden to your children. A calm, independent life is the most precious gift you deserve in your later years. Value yourself and the time you have left. When you live happily and healthily, your children will feel reassured, and the whole family will be happier. Life becomes more complete when we learn to let go of what doesn't matter and cherish what we still have. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with the latest videos. See you in the next one.